out today and being a part of the first Grand Rapids Guitar Festival. Really excited to see how this grows. Next year we're going to have some more events throughout the year, different jams, different lessons and stuff that we do, to keep this ball rolling. So next year we'll have like a nice big festival. Additionally, I want to thank our sponsors, particularly John Marshall Guitars. John did a great class on classical guitar introduction. He's a really great teacher. Definitely, when it's posted on the website, watch his class. And if you're in the market for a classical guitar, he's definitely the guy to reach out to. Additionally, Russ Olmstead from North Face Guitars. Hopefully you got to talk to him and learn about all the work that he does. If you have an instrument that needs to be tuned up, he's definitely a guy to take it to. Additionally, Jeff from Sacred Springs, the Kombucha Tap House, did a great looping set that a lot of you enjoyed. And yeah, I know that I'm probably forgetting some people. What's that?
Elijah?
Well, yes, he's an instructor, but I was thinking of sponsors.
Okay.
Yep. Of course, the Special Olympics for letting us use their space, and also Roots Brew Shop for the coffee, and yeah. Anyway, today we have Andrew Brown of the Appleseed Collective and his Gypsy Jazz project, Django Fanique. And we're going to be doing a Gypsy Jazz kind of set with our good buddy Tom Knifick, who is a legendary bass player in West Michigan and
the rest of the world.
the rest of the world. I mean, even China, right?
China, for
Yeah.
sure.
Are you big in Japan?
Bigger in China.
Yeah. So I think we're probably just gonna kick it off with a tune, and then Andrew has some thoughts to share with us about him and his instrument.
You like cocaine?
Okay.
Sure.
Or is he basically taking it to?
1, 2, 3, 4.
with some fellow guitar lovers. So has anyone, I know some of you already, so I know that you guys know who Django is, but does anyone here not know who Django Reinhardt is? Everyone does? You don't? Oh, okay.
I know he's 2 fingers.
Not trying to, yeah, yeah, well, that's actually pretty much mostly the whole story. He also is,
Not much more to say.
yeah, he was handicapped. He was a professional musician before he was handicapped, actually, though. By the time he was like 9 years old, he played banjo tar, backing up accordion players in dance halls in Paris where they played a style of music called musette. And then when he was 18, he lost really the ability to use these fingers apart from barring. So all the single note stuff was done with 2 fingers. I think that like some scholars have figured out because of the notes he plays in recordings that the spread of these 2 fingers was some unbelievable distance. You know, he could play these huge intervals. So I got into this style actually first when I was 21, and I tried to play it. And I would learn the melodies that Django played, and I would learn the the notes, and I would try to learn his solos, and it just never worked for me. I just could not do it, so I gave up. And it was like maybe 6 or 7 years later, I started doing it again. And the big difference for me, why did I not really succeed back then, is because I could never get it to sound like him. You know, it's like I could play the same notes, but it didn't really sound, and I still can't sound like Django, but I figured out something that I didn't used to know, which is that the people who play this style of guitar, both the actual guitar, but just the style, generally pick with a totally different technique than, say, someone who maybe learned on electric, or even bluegrass players, or other styles of, let's say, American guitar, or even American jazz players. And it's interesting because it's obviously a flashy style, and people play very fast in this style, but the technique is not it's not prioritized for speed. It's prioritized for sound. Because they were playing acoustic guitars, and they're trying to get this huge sound out of a relatively quiet instrument. So actually, sometimes if I pick up a Strat, it's like way too much, because I'm over here hammering into the strings, and it doesn't sound good. So I actually have to if I have to play an electric gig, I have to spend like 2 days learning how to pick lighter. But in some ways, when I first sort of was left to my own devices learning guitar, and I'm self-taught really, so I would always brace my wrist on the bridge, and then I would alternate pick everything, and I practiced all my skills like that. And you see it has this smooth, sort of uninterrupted, even sound. But when I learned this style, they said, well, here's your downstroke. That's a little bit brash, but that's the basic idea. And so it's kind of an interesting thing because they call this a rest stroke, where it's where you lift your finger up, or not your finger, you lift your hand up and you then drop it through one of the strings, and then you let the weight of your hand just carry it on through. It's like you don't even pick the string, you let your hand drop through the string. And it carries on through to get caught by the next string, which of course it means you'll have to have a very aggressive pick angle. So if here's the string, the pick angle has to be going in, as opposed to escaping out because it wants to get caught by that next string. And so then you kind of get this sound. And so I was like, wow, once I figured that out, and then they said, well, here's the rule. Every time you change a string, you have to play one of those rest strokes down. And I said, well, you mean when I change a string going up, right? That's when I play the rest stroke down. They said, no, even if you change a string going back down. So if I want to, say, play a G major 7 arpeggio, which is fingered, one note on the E string, one note on the B string, one note on the G string, and one note on the D string, and I'm going to have to pick that, if I want to pick it in this style, down, 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 down. And so you actually have to learn how to play those very, very fast. And I said, well, why would anyone ever try to play guitar like this? This is terrible. But it's for the sound. And so whenever I'm sort of trying to teach people about this style, I say it really starts with the sound. It's like, I don't actually care if you can play a million notes. How can you play one note that sounds like clear and bell-like and round? Obviously, if you're trying to play like neo-soul fusion on the guitar, this is not gonna be the technique for that. But if you do wanna get a huge sound using a plectrum out of an acoustic guitar, then it'll work for it. It doesn't work for certain things, like a certain bebop language, it's very hard to pick in this way. Bluegrass, it would be nearly impossible to play in this way because there's too many string crossings, right? So it kind of is for this style, but it's kind of a cool technique. So the name of my keynote, and I feel honored, thank you guys for having me as the keynote speaker. I am still trying to figure out guitar, as I imagine everyone here is. And so the name of what I wanted to talk about here is sort of finding your own inner voice inside of a tradition. In some ways, I never really felt like I knew how to solo until I did sort of choose one style to really immerse myself in. Learn 100 songs, learn all the melodies, learn all this, you know. And then it's like you learn a bunch of licks. And it was really hard for me though in the beginning. It's like I would learn lines and I would transcribe Django, but I still wouldn't really know what to do with it. So I kind of want to take you, we're going to do a little bit, some musical examples here. I want to take you on a little teeny journey sort of how I learned, because I actually in some ways came at it from the opposite way that I teach now, because I'm like, I already made those mistakes for you. We can go the other way, the quick route. But I want to show you, this is actually something that I do teach my students, but then I emphasize that it's really not the way you want to play. But I teach that to them because I want them to sort of feel like they can move their fingers around the fretboard inside of a tune where there's chord changes. So chords are going by, and some of these chords are not in the diatonic key. So you have to change chords and move your fingers around the instrument in a way and be relaxed doing that and actually be making the changes. So does anyone here know the jazz tune All of Me?
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna play a little bit of All of Me. And I think, is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the melody to start. And then after that, I'm gonna play, you guys are gonna hear me play only eighth notes. And I'm going to try to mostly only play the notes that are in the arpeggios. You guys, does everyone, I don't even believe in music theory other than words to describe something that you can hear. So does everyone know what arpeggios means?
Yeah.
Versus like scales?
Yeah.
Just the notes that are in the chord. So, you know, for example, the first chord of this song is C major, the second chord is E7, third chord is A7, and then D minor. So you'll hear me, and I'm gonna play eighth notes all around the entire thing, and I'm gonna try to start very simple and straight, almost non-musically, just moving methodically, and then by the time I maybe get to the end of the form, I'm gonna try and start playing with the rhythm, but I'm only gonna be using those notes. So let's see how this works. This could crash into the mountain, I'll warn you guys. Well, I'm not sure how it's gonna go, so we'll try. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. realized it was too high of a tempo for me to actually do it in eighth notes. We should try it though, just real quick. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, you know, obviously you wouldn't want to start practicing anything at that tempo. But if you have those chord charts in front of you, and it doesn't have to be a lead sheet, it can literally just be, you know, C major for 2 bars, E7. This is how I did it in the beginning, is I would say, okay, well, I know I want to play eighth notes, because in swing, eighth notes are kind of the white bread that the sandwich is made on. You know, they're the main grammatical structures of your sentences are going to be eighth notes. And obviously, if it's swing music, you want them to swing, but when you're first starting out, just play them straight eighths. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? And you go, okay, well, you have 2 bars of C major into 2 bars of E7. So what are you going to do? You're going to go, okay, well, that means if it's 2 bars and they're eighth notes, that's 8 notes per bar. So 2 bars of C major is 16. So I got to count to 16 in C major, and then I got to count to 16 in E7. So it's, you know, you sit down and you go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You get the idea, right? And you move around, and you don't even have to practice that in time to start. You literally can just play as long as you know, okay, I've played 16, right? You can just walk around. And you just slowly, you know, maybe you learn a little area down here. You figure out where all your C and your E7 is. Now, yeah, what's your question?
What's the other tool that's most important when doing this?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I
What's
don't know
the one thing you always
specifically.
threw in my face, Andrew?
What was it?
Metronome.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, there are some people, I wasn't one of them, but there are some people who are born with really, really good time. They have incredible division between their quarter notes. It just stays consistent over time. I wasn't one of those people. And if you're not one of those people, please practice with the metronome. You'll heal yourself and you'll heal the world.
Changed my life.
You know, it feels
Sure.
so much more fun for everyone, including you. And at first it might be scary because it's like, why does that thing keep speeding up and slowing down? But then just relax, let go, and let the metronome tell you. And actually, that's why I would say it's great to do this exercise. Once maybe outside of a metronome, you've sort of built a couple of routes, I might call them. You have little ways you can walk around the chords. You know, then try to do that with the metronome. And so then you'll feel it, you know. And you can either put the metronome on every eighth note or on every quarter note, whatever feels comfortable. The point is that it has to be in time. And it's amazing if you just do that for 15 minutes a day. It's like flossing. You don't get any time cavities after that, you know. Keep your time nice and clean. Space between your
smile will shine.
Yeah, your jazz smile will shine. And honestly, you can even, you know, if you play with good rhythm, you don't have to play the right notes. Let's do another chorus of All of Me. As long as we stay in time, we're good. Like, let's watch this.
Rhythm is king.
Rhythm is king. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, But at the same time, it's like, what was this? I was completely just moving just a major chord randomly without any respect for the changes. But it didn't even, you know, you could do that at a restaurant gig and you would still have your job. As long as you didn't do it out of time.
Yeah, the only thing I was like, where's he going with this?
Yeah,
I was like, this is gonna pay off, it better pay off. But if it's in time, it's, you know,
Yeah.
I trust you. Yeah.
So this is in some ways, and you'll find, you know, though the thing I caution my students about this is that you don't ultimately ever want to go and be a soloist, and in whatever style. I mean, this sort of concept can really apply to pretty much any style of music that has chord changes, right? You need to understand where they are. You need to know sort of what notes are in the chord, so you can outline those or not outline those if you so choose to, right? But the thing I caution people is that you don't want to sound like when you take your solo. So that's where I think that's where you really get to find your own identity. And whether it's bluegrass or jazz fusion or anything that you might be playing, rock and roll, blues, it's all about, like we say, the rhythmic execution. And one of the ways I like to practice this, hopefully with a metronome, it's like level 1, you learn some routes, some maps to walk your way around the song. Level 2 is maybe you do that in time. And then level 3 is you start trying to play call and response with yourself. And you start to try to make so say the first chords are C major, E7, A7, D minor. I'm gonna try to do groups of 4 chords where I try and keep one idea. And when I say idea, I truly mean, well, there's many ways you could construe it, but to start a rhythmic idea. It might also have a sort of general direction, like in terms of the notes, it starts on a higher note and goes to a lower note. I'm talking very low resolution concepts here, you know? So it has a certain rhythm and maybe a certain direction. And then I'm gonna try and move it around using the notes that are in the chords. So we'll try it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just keep it going. And then maybe what did I do most of that? What was it? What was the idea? It was da 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 da. That was the idea. Da 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 ba ba da ba ba da 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 ba 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 da. Da 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 ba ba da 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 ba 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 ba. Of course, you can keep messing around with it, right? And it was almost not even 7th arpeggios. It was triads. I was moving triads just around, starting on the highest note that I could find on my E string, and then moving to the next closest, place to grab it. And so that's what you want to do. And did you notice that I would come up with another idea, and then I would mimic myself, right? Tom, why don't you show them a chorus on All of Me? Play this idea. I want to hear it on the bass.
Okay, sure.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Sorry, couldn't help it. I couldn't help myself at one point. I know it went off.
Yeah.
Bad boy.
Right, so it's this sort of idea that you want to take, you want to teach yourself what's going on in terms of, usually there's 3 or 4 notes in the chord, and then there's different chords in the song. So you do want to know what's going on, but that won't get you to playing music. Then you actually have to play with it, right? And the playing with it is the rhythm. It's messing around with the rhythm and coming up with ideas. So maybe we'll play another song, and then maybe sort of open it up for questions, or we can also maybe I'd love to go around and just meet you guys. We'll play another song. Maybe we'll meet you guys here where you guys are coming from musically, and then we can go from there.
Sounds good.
Should we try Si tu savais?
Oh,
Du Ambiance?
yeah.
We'll play a Django Reinhardt original.
Yeah,
A
that's
tune
good.
called Du Ambiance. That has a really cool device right at the beginning where the melody note stays the same and the chords just keep on moving underneath that melody note. And you can play that on the guitar by changing the voicing. So you'll watch me do that right at the beginning. All right, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. mostly what, at least I was personally doing, was bullshit, but could you guys sometimes hear me trying to play call and response with myself?
Yeah,
A little bit in there, right? Yeah.
yeah, a little bit of the melody every now and then too.
Maybe, yeah, if we're lucky, yeah,
Sometimes.
on a nice day.
You know why that's so important? I mean, it's call and response is a conversational technique, and the best music makes you feel like you're hearing a conversation, even if it's within a person or if it's trading, like when we're trading, or exciting things that happen in other band events between drums and other things. But when you can give it that sense of language and intelligent and impassioned and emotional context,
Expression.
the expression that language gives us. I mean, you sense there's something going on, I mean, whether you think of it in those terms or not, and that's kind of what draws us into that.
Yeah.
So it's important to be able to get it, if you can do it in your own playing, you can certainly do it across an ensemble too.
Right. I noticed, it also sometimes feels like you're connecting with something outside of yourself when you're doing it. Or you're taking your music and putting it outside of yourself and everyone else can sort of latch onto it. It's like I noticed, Alex, when I was making an example, it was something on All of Me, but I was doing some motif, you were accurately, I could see you were singing along and you knew what I was gonna play next.
Yes.
And it's like we didn't have rehearsed that or anything, right? And I didn't even know what I was gonna play, but it was like we were hearing the
I know
logical
where you're
conclusion,
going,
right?
yeah.
We were setting up a expectation, and that's what you a lot of times want to do. You want to set up an expectation, and you either give them what they want, or don't give them what they want, or tune your guitar maybe. So that's kind of an interesting thing. So why don't we go around? Where are you from, Alex?
Here in GR.
Awesome. How did you get? How long have you been playing? What did you get? What kind of music are you into?
I'm heavily into blues guitar. Electric,
Nice.
acoustic. When I play electric, I play with a pick. When I play acoustic, I finger pick.
Awesome.
I've been playing for 2 years.
Wow. Congratulations. Sounds like it's moving quickly.
It is moving quickly, and
That's awesome.
I'm thankful that it is.
Does anyone else? Who else here plays? You wanna? Well, do you play guitar? Does she play guitar?
She'd like to. This is hello.
Hello. You play guitar. I see one next to you.
Yeah.
What's your name?
I've been playing like 7 years, but I'm more of like just like campfire guitarist, like just
Singing?
strumming chords.
Yeah.
I'm not a singer, but I try.
Okay, that's perfect. I love that. I also sing and play a little bit. Maybe we could do some of that.
I play. Been playing since I was 14, 55 or something now.
Awesome, man.
But I switched over to bass, upright bass.
Yay!
I moved to Austin, Texas, and didn't work a day job and played bass for 20 years.
Fantastic.
You didn't, or you did?
I did, yeah.
Did work a day job?
No, I did not.
Did not work a day
Yeah.
job. Okay.
Bass.
Yeah, that's a day job.
Just did gigs and studio sessions and lessons, and then I got married and moved back to Michigan, and I'm getting back into just playing guitar, and I have a day gig that I work like way too many hours.
Okay.
And so, but guitar is good for the soul as well.
Awesome, man. You should keep playing that bass too. I wish I could
I
play
do,
bass.
yeah, I do, I still play it.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to hear me play bass.
Yeah, is that a 7/8 by the way?
This is actually a really big 3/4, so it depends how you're measuring it. Like, check this out. This is the big one, right?
Yeah.
The bouts, everything. But I have I'm a guitarist first. I started in 3rd grade, and I'm totally guitar. And then this came along, and it kind of took over my life. So I'm the opposite. I play guitar for myself and for my students and all, but this just kind of took over. So I had to find a bass, because you asked the size, that was not too wide here or too long this way, but had the size that would give me the sound I wanted.
Yeah, the bounce are huge on
Yeah, so they are. So it's Czech. It's about 125 years old.
It was either that or a house.
Yeah,
You know.
That's right. But I could live in the bass case, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
So, but thanks for asking. Yeah, it's a wonderful instrument, actually.
Yeah,
It
it
is a
sounds
instrument.
great.
I've got a French instrument about the same age. I've got a K that my dad played from the 30s, and I've had several other instruments over the years, but this tends to be my go-to.
Yeah.
It means that he likes us and he trusts us that he brought this one out.
Yeah, I understand it. It's super nice.
Is anyone else,
John,
John?
I play mostly blues guitar,
Awesome.
so been playing since I was 13.
All right, I think I already have a plan now. We're gonna take a gypsy jazz tune and I'm gonna try to play as bluesy as I can.
Oh, I think C2 lends it.
Yeah, and then, I can't read your,
Ken.
Ken? You play?
I've been playing for about about 10 years, and I get together with a group called Guitars for Vets.
Awesome.
We give a
Beautiful.
guitar to any vet that wants to learn to play.
Are you a vet?
Yeah, and we play once a week, and kind of a sing-along, you know.
I love that.
Audience to sing
That's the
along.
best. And then, Mr. Vadnal.
Yeah. Been playing since I think 13. I did it because I want to pick up chicks.
Nice.
Uh,
And that worked for you too, because now
no,
you
it
have.
didn't.
Oh, it didn't?
Well, he's got a wife and
About to
two
say, yeah, you
kids,
have
so
wife-
I
Well,
think
I
it
do have
works.
a wife and 2
Yeah.
kids.
In the
but
long
it
run,
wasn't
it did
really
work.
the guitar because I like the Dave Matthews Band and she doesn't. So. It's true. She almost broke me up. Broke up with me.
Oh, I see.
No,
Wow.
just I love all types of music. Like I don't think there's types of music that I don't like.
Awesome.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a lot of blues players in the house. That's
Yeah, so
cool.
I think we should do C2 Save, because you
Yeah.
can really blues that one up.
I actually, before I discovered Django, my favorite guitar player was a tie between Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan.
One
And
and the
I actually
same.
want to make one note, being that there's a lot of blues players here. If you listen, I only figured this out after I learned the gypsy jazz style. But if you listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan, a lot of electric players, like I said, the wrist is collapsed on the bridge. But the way we play is very much loose wrist because you're getting the whole weight of the hand. But if you listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan, at least when he's playing rhythm, he's going like, when he's doing stuff like that, that dude is not, like people are like, oh, well, Stevie sounded that way because he had an amp turned up to 13 in a stadium. And it's like, no, he sounded like that on an acoustic guitar. You know what I mean? Like when he picked a string, the string went, and I've watched videos of him play acoustic. And so, a very wise sound producer one time told me that a quietly plucked string turned up very, very loud sounds like a quietly plucked string turned up very, very loud. You can't fake it. And so even if maybe you don't want to fall down the rabbit hole of trying to play Django Reinhardt music, you could still learn something from this technique, especially if you're trying to play blues, because in some ways, this style and blues, and you're about to see, there's a crossover, but they're both styles of guitar that try to make the guitar sound as expressive as a voice.
So I have a counterintuitive way to put this in practice. You electric players, if you want to play louder, turn down your volume knob.
Oh,
It'll
that makes
force you to
sense.
play louder.
Right.
Because when I have a hot pickup here, it's super hot and I have to
baby it.
dial it back. However, if I dial my volume back,
Then you have
I
to.
can wallop and get more sound out of that string. So a little counterintuitive little tool to try there.
Yeah, keep it, it can be good. And also practice on, even if you play electric, practice on acoustics. It can also be really, really good.
Learn how to make your own sound is the message there.
Yeah.
Right.
We're only using these, we've played concerts acoustically all the time, but.
Right.
The
Can
thing
you,
is, learn how to make your own.
yeah.
On the voyage to learning your voice on an instrument, learn how to make your own sound.
It's actually, it's making me think, I think we should play a tune, but after this tune, I want to talk about sort of the next level of things that I try to help people out when they come and study with me, which is a lot about projecting and also getting out of your own way. So we're going to talk about that, psychologically getting out of your own way, and remembering why you're doing what you're doing. So we're going to talk about that next maybe, because what you just said really sent me down that rabbit hole. But we're going to try to play a song. This is actually a French tune or maybe an Italian tune that got rewritten in French and then rewritten in Italian or something, called Si Tu Savais, If You Knew. And I'm going to try to play it as bluesy as possible. We'll see if it can work. 1, 2, 3, 4.
anything more intimidating than blues played on a stand-up bass.
Well, you should
Like,
try being right next
whoa.
to his bow.
Yeah, that's Tom Kinnick.
I took private, what can I say?
Oh, we have a question?
My name's Lily.
Hi,
Lily.
Lily.
Hello.
And you play any
How are
music?
you?
Mm-hmm.
Nice, what do you play?
I sing sometimes.
Nice,
Oh.
keep that up.
Lily, how old are you?
5
Wow.
years
Five,
old.
nice.
I have a grandson who's 5 years old, and we're gonna see him next week. You guys will be good friends if you met, I just know it.
I think we have just a few minutes, so let's do some questions. Does anyone have any questions? Thoughts, comments?
Oh man, what's the price tag on that guitar?
Well, this guitar is in desperate need of work right now, and so I recently bought it. But
Oh.
new, about 4,500 to $5,000. I got it for 2,250. Plus, the guy who I bought it from hired me for 3 gigs while I was in San Francisco
Oh,
picking
this
it
is
up.
that
from him.
thing, this is great, I mean, I've watched you go out there and I saw his thing and followed it for a little bit, like, what a great idea, right?
Yep.
Integrate like it's like the most holistic business model I've ever seen with music in terms of, that was great, did you have a good time?
Oh, it was incredible. Yeah, best of my experience buying a guitar ever. I got to stay at this dude's house in San Francisco for 3 days and play gigs and buy a guitar. And he paid me for those gigs too, so.
All that being said, I paid 500 for this one, but for you, I'd let it go for 750.
Wow. 800.
Deal.
One for the price of 2.
Yeah, you can, in terms of these style of guitars, and honestly, you can learn this technique on any guitar. In order, for the lead, it really actually does work for almost any guitar. For the rhythm, because the rhythm is really aggressive and dense, and I'm using all 6 strings, that's your major chord. That's like G major. That's Gypsy Jazz G major. So if you're playing a song in G, that's the chord you play. A big sound. The stack of that is root, 5th, root, 3rd, 6th, 9th.
So open, right?
Yeah,
It's all-
huge. But you don't really want it to sound like this, right? It has to be really crisp, you know? It almost sounds like a drum that has a hint of a chord. And so you can, I would say playing the rhythm is the thing that you'll really want one of the guitars for. It feels right, it sounds right. That's like the thing that's kind of hard to get. There's like, I wouldn't even recommend, like if I was on a gig and I had a different style of guitar, I wouldn't play rhythm the same way. You know, I would change my technique. Because a lot of those arch tops or flat tops, they're too much low end, so it just sounds too woofy and muddy. It doesn't
many
sound
overtones.
Yeah, it doesn't sound clear. So if you want to learn, I mean, ultimately, the thing is, for $700, DjangoGuitars.com. A shout out to my luthier, the guy who just installed a pickup in here, Tommy Davey. He's a dealer out in California, and for $700, you will get the best Chinese-made gypsy jazz guitar that could be set up by someone who really understands these guitars. And the setup is literally half the battle. It's like, you know, you start, after the first 1,000, you
can
start
make a
paying
guitar
another
play like
1,000 for
$1,000,000.
0.5% better. You know what I mean? So you get to 6,000 and it's like 2.5% better. You know? And then after every 1,000 above 6,000, that's for another 0.25% better, right? So you get to like 15,000. It's
So
like
700 gets you into it then, huh?
700 will get you into it.
Just to add on what Andrew said about Tommy Davey, like he has such a precision on the setups, and setups on those guitars are very difficult.
And most people just don't understand that.
Yeah, they just don't understand it. There's not a lot of material on it or people
Yeah.
working on this. But I'm just saying, like, if you get it through Django Guitars, it will make your process to Django a lot easier.
Yes,
Because of that.
I would
setup.
agree. Do not, and I love Elderly Instruments, go there for all your bluegrass guitar needs and whatever, but do not go to Elderly Instruments and buy yourself an Eastman. Because what you will be buying is a guitar that looks like one of these guitars, but isn't.
Okay.
You know?
And I strongly will say, please go to
Laguna Beach, California, LA.
Oh, and I want to add a comment too about, not a comment, but it's more on an observation about your playing, Andrew.
Yeah.
I think the one key note to finding your own voice is see how simplistic the way Andrew plays with his soloing, yeah, he doesn't do a lot of call and response, but he does these little simple conversational, like, it's almost like words.
Melodic.
Yeah, but it's
ideas.
very, yeah, but it brings out a joy in the music and it brings a joy out of your playing.
Right.
And all I'm saying is like, you don't have to go, see, when I got into gypsy jazz, I love that speed, like the speed of the arpeggios and all that stuff, and then you come to find out, like, no, it's actually really how simplistic you can almost get, and then use those really fast runs just in the right timing of things.
Okay, I totally agree, Chris. There's some people that get into gypsy jazz and they learn all these shredder licks, but it just doesn't really, you get tired of listening to it within 2.5 minutes.
It's because they don't have a sense of humor.
Well, that, and also it's you know, you get tired of listening to it within 10 minutes because it's just all, you know, it's just, you know, stuff like that.
It's easy to be impressed with that, but it's hard to be moved by
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so even Django, he really sort of played like a horn player now. He had these insane, fiery, virtuosic moments, but that was a little extra dressing on the main meat of the sandwich, which was concise, swinging, simple ideas. So let's maybe try, we'll actually play a more of a standard, a jazz standard, There Will Never Be Another You. And that's a really great one to highlight at this point. I'm gonna try to put some flash in there, but also really play sort of, I think the right term would be lyrically. And actually one of the ways that I learn tunes, I'll let you in, is like, try to actually learn the lyrics.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like know the lyrics when you're playing the melody on the guitar. Know the lyrics, because if you think about the way you would say those words, that will influence the way that you'll play the guitar, and it will make your playing sound lyrical.
And it's not just gypsy jazz, he's also saying like pop music too.
Yeah,
right?
on the blues, right? Like if you can play
Anything,
the,
seriously.
you know, if you could play, what's that song, Stormy Monday, right? But you know the words, right? And like when you're playing the melody, think the words and try to, you know, I don't get up on Monday. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to articulate that in a way that has, you know, feeling? And then let that come out. And it makes your guitar playing sound like a human voice.
Holland Wolf was really good at that.
Right.
Everybody says like, oh, he sings on his instrument, right?
Right.
When you're talking about
Yeah.
instrumentals
What
at
does
the
that really
highest
mean?
level. Right, right.
Yeah. Learn the lyrics. It's an incredible thing. And like use that as a practice tool. Like literally try and sing the lyrics while you're playing your lines.
Could
Maybe
you
I'll
do
try
that,
it.
Andrew? Like, can you sing the lyrics to their, I don't
Yeah,
know if
sure.
everybody knows that standard, but just as an example.
See if I can remember
There
it.
may be other lips that I will kiss, but yours are the only ones that I may miss.
Yeah. There will never ever be another me. Is that, how did you play this song? Let's see if I remember it.
It's a
Can't
jazz
remember it.
standard,
Yeah.
he says. How do you play it again?
I will try it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. There will be many other nights like this, and I'll be standing here with someone new. There will be other songs to sing, another fall, another spring, but there will never be another you. There will be many other lips I've kissed.
Andrew Brown, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Granger. Tompkins.
My only last piece of advice, we didn't get there actually, to getting out of your way, but my last piece of advice is grab yourself a yellow Post-it note, put it on the opposite end of the room that you practice, and pretend it's whoever you want to marry in your future, and play to that Post-it note, as if every note you are trying to hit that Post-it note. Or at least, if you can't quite do that, try to look up. You know what I mean? Try to be able to play the guitar where you don't actually have to just slump and crouch and fall into your instrument and just, you're focused only inward. It'll be very hard for you to make music with other people that way. So you have to sort of, get a device that cranks the neck back up. So just look at, so a lot of times it's like, find a room you can play to the back wall of and try to project. That'll change your life.
Bravo, bravo.
All right, thank you guys.